Although there are some headwinds, the fundamentals underpinning the Australian residential apartment market remain unquestionably strong. Headwinds include slowing of the planned sales, which have largely resulted from capital controls from China, the introduction of state-based taxes on foreign investors, and a tighter lending environment stemming from the Banking Royal Commission. Overall, the apartment market remains resilient. By design, the heat has come out of the apartment sector, which from MaxCap's perspective was a necessary and healthy outcome and should aid a soft landing for the market. MaxCap has identified a number of key trends that will underpin the Australian apartment sector for the foreseeable future. Population growth, urbanisation and generational shifts. Australia's population is expanding at the fastest pace in the developed world, having increased by 1.6% over the year, far above the increase of the United States' growth of 0.6% and the United Kingdom's growth of 0.7%. In the Asian Pacific region specifically, Korea recorded population growth of 0.4%, while Japan's population actually declined by 0.3%. Much of Australia's population growth is as a result of net migration from Australia's Asian neighbours, attracted by Australia's world-class education reputation, living conditions, stable geopolitical environment, and an economy with strong growth prospects. Obviously, many of these new residents are used to high-density living, driving demand for apartments in Australia. Looking over the next 5 years, an additional 770,000 dwellings will be required to accommodate the projected population growth forecast by the Australian Bureau of Statistics. The second megatrend underpinning the Australian apartment sector is urbanisation. In comparison to other global cities, Australian cities still have a low apartment base, which indicates that the market is less mature with plenty of room for further growth. For instance, only 6.4% of Melbourne's 4.4 million people live in a high-density dwelling, compared to 12% in Berlin, 13% in Boston, 16% in Vancouver and 37% in London. Even in Australia's most mature apartment market, Sydney, still only 13% of its 4.8 million people live in a high-density accommodation. Yet another factor underpinning the growth in the apartment sector are the generational shifts led by millennials. Coupled with affordability pressures, housing preferences continue to change among younger generations such as the millennials, who now nearly represent almost half of the workforce. Millennials generally prefer to live closer to places of work has led to an acceleration of densification trends mirroring similar patterns across most developed economies. Off the back of strong population growth and the acceptance of medium and high density in prime urban locations, MaxCap's view is that the Australian apartment sector is a scalable and sustainable investment opportunity.